Here's more wrestling news for November 25th, 2022. And we're starting off with Thunder Rosa, as the former AEW Women's World Champion is dealing with a back injury that has kept her on the shelf since early September. While AEW had hoped she'd be back soon, that hasn't happened, and fans shouldn't expect to see her for months to come. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained Rosa's situation, saying, "They expected her back in November or December, now it's looking like February, so now I think they're saying February is too long." By too long, Meltzer is referring to it being too long for Rosa to be the Women's World Champion while injured, as the face-painted wrestler relinquished the gold during this week's Dynamite. Time will tell whether Rosa is able to come back in February, as AEW now hopes, but it's a real shame that her reign ended on such a dud and in such a confusing way. This week, Scrypts made his in-ring debut in NXT, picking up a decisive win over Guru Raj after weeks of ominous voicemails and showing up at the Performance Center. The character is the latest brainchild from the creative team working hard at NXT, but it is also inspired by one of WWE's most problematic fans. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer explained how the character is partially inspired by Armando Montalvo, the obsessed fan who stalked the Performance Center for years. Montalvo would often threaten WWE talent, demand a job, and on multiple occasions wiped feces on the walls of the Performance Center, though we do not know if it was his own. In 2015, Montalvo was shot and arrested by police, and in 2018, a judge granted WWE a permanent order of protection that keeps the fan away from the center and other WWE private property. Scrypts, thankfully, did not wipe his poop on the Performance Center wall, but he did graffiti his name during one promotional vignette, and we'll have to see what's next for the former Reggie. Tomorrow night, Shotzi will have her first opportunity at the SmackDown Women's title on a premium live event where she takes on Ronda Rousey. To many, the result is practically guaranteed that Rousey will win, but you can never count out WWE trying to swerve fans in an effort to be unpredictable. According to sources, there are several finishes being weighed up for the match, only one of which will see Rousey retain the title. That proposed finish would see Raquel Rodriguez appear during the match and turn heel, attacking Shotzi and costing her the match. It was back in May that Rodriguez unsuccessfully challenged for the title, but earned the respect of Rousey, and it's reported that Rob Fee, WWE's head of long-term creative, is the one pushing the idea. Another finish being considered wouldn't see Raquel get involved, but Shayna Baszler, who would inadvertently cost Rousey the match. The belief behind this pitched idea is that if Rousey is to lose, the UFC fighter cannot lose clean, and that this is the only idea to take the title off Ronda while still protecting her. Possibly the most interesting idea doing the rounds backstage is that Shotzi will win the title, but it'll be Charlotte Flair who makes the difference. Flair hasn't been on WWE TV in months, and the last time we saw her, she was losing the title to Rousey at WrestleMania Backlash. The idea is that Flair could return as a face and get some payback on Ronda, helping Shotzi win the title before transitioning into a heel role, admitting that she wants Shotzi as champion because she feels the green-haired wrestler is easier to beat. Of course, this finish hinges on Charlotte actually returning, but with her father Rick announcing that he'll be at Raw's 30th anniversary and the Royal Rumble in January 2023, the relationship between WWE and the Flairs seems to be very good at this time. Rousey regained the SmackDown Women's title at Extreme Rules, but her run with the title may not be long. But we'll have to watch Survivor Series War Games to know who leaves Boston as champion. More from the Thunder Rosa situation, as with her reign officially over, AEW confirmed on Dynamite that interim champion Jamie Hayter is now the official world champion. Many were taken by surprise given that when CM Punk was injured in June of this year, he was not forced to relinquish the AEW World Championship, but we now know AEW's new rule. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer explained that from now on, there will be a cutoff point that will determine whether an injured champion gets stripped of the gold or if an interim champion is crowned. With Punk was supposed to hold the title through that period, so that's one of the reasons they did it that way. Because Moxley really wanted that championship reign, and he ended up getting another one because of what happened with Punk, but because of that, they ended up Moxley getting an official reign, and then Punk was supposed to get an official reign back and everything like that. I think that's kind of unofficially the mentality that if it's a few months, we'll do the interim title. If it's like 6 months, it's too long. CM Punk was able to recover from his first injury this year within a matter of weeks, while the injury he suffered at All Out will take many more months to recover from, which resulted in him being stripped of his second AEW World title reign. Of course, the likelihood is that Punk won't come back to AEW, but for any future champions who get hurt, they better hope their recovery process isn't too long. Yesterday was Thanksgiving in the United States, a time for families to come together, put differences aside, and be grateful for what they have. For many families, putting politics, religion, and other topics aside is difficult, and the Mysterios aren't immune from a difficult Thanksgiving dinner. As shared on social media, Dominik attended his family's Thanksgiving, bringing Rhea Ripley with him, but his mother Angie refused to let him in. When Ray told the Judgment Day duo to leave, Dom forced his way past his mother, attacking his father's injured leg. Obviously, the family and Ripley did not share a delicious Thanksgiving meal together, but the younger Mysterio was certainly thankful for his mommy and the rest of the Judgment Day this year. In May, Jeff Jarrett was rehired by WWE, serving as the company's senior vice president of live events, but his run was short-lived. Less than a month after Triple H took over as head of talent, Jarrett was gone, replaced in the role by the game's NXT ally and DX teammate, Road Dogg Jesse James. Double J's time came to an end almost immediately after Triple H took over, and on Smack Talk, Dutch Mantel suggested that Triple H had been wanting Jarrett gone from the start. Road Dogg, who is Triple H's buddy, he needed a job. So I think Jeff blames Triple H for going in after the change and saying, "We need to put Road Dogg in Jeff's spot and we need to release Jeff." Jarrett has landed on his feet as he now has a similar role in AEW, where he is also working as an on-screen character, but it may not have been his performance that caused WWE to cut ties with him in August of this year. Now, Rhea Ripley has proven to be an imposing enforcer for the Judgment Day, but fans haven't seen much of her in the ring as of late. In June, Ripley was pulled from action over a concussion and dental surgery and has only wrestled twice on TV since being cleared in October. Speaking to the New York Post, Ripley explained her sporadic wrestling schedule, saying that there have been after effects to her injury. Ripley may now be cleared, but WWE doesn't want to rush her into things, a clear sign of just how much long-term potential the company sees for her. Even while she hasn't been wrestling much, Ripley is often a focal point on TV, both as the enforcer of the Judgment Day and for her angle with Dominik, and is proving that she can be a star without having to take a bump. This Sunday, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will wrestle again, his first time back in the ring in over a decade. The Dragon will team with FTR to face Jay Lethal, Brock Anderson, and a mystery opponent, but the Hall of Famer is getting help from another inductee. Speaking to Wrestling Inc., Steamboat said that he's been training with Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane, for the match, and has also been working hard at Tom Pritchard's wrestling school. Given that the Dragon was known for his speed and high flying during his career, there's some irony that he's being trained by the slow and menacing Kane, but all that training will pay off this Sunday. And we're ending today with Hulk Hogan, who in 2022 is something of a controversial figure, with fans still loathing the Hulkster for comments he made in 2015. These days, Hogan is happy enough running his beach shop in Florida, and he gave 2 customers an extra special treat this week. In a video on social media, the Hulkster approached a deaf-blind couple and allowed the man to touch his mustache and muscles to make it clear who he was speaking to. Elated, the man informed his partner, whose face lit up when she realized that Hogan was there, and also got a feel of the WWE Hall of Famer. This couple had clearly been Hogan fans before losing their sight and hearing, and the Hulkster said that he saw them on the street the other day wearing his merch, but didn't realize they were deaf and blind at first. Decades after the Hulkamania era, Hogan continues to be one of the most well-known names in pro wrestling, and while he's been in the center of scandals, he certainly did a great thing for these 2 fans. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.